Friends of Team ReVolt, what do we have on the bench? The Tsunami chassis. And this is episode 1 of that build, in which we explain what this chassis is and what all the components are we will be using. So, the Tsunami chassis is a design of myself, which is very versatile. There's a lot of mounting holes for the rear and the front shocks. There's a lot of positions for the upper links, as well in the front as in the rear. In the rear we have 2 positions. First of all, you can work with really long links from the bottom of the skid, and then we use these mounting holes on the front, or we have this piece which can fit in here, and then we start with our links from over here, and then we have this set of holes to use, so which helps with clearance in the bottom. The skid has a little bit of a nose in the front, which helps to slide over rocks. We left a gap in here to keep as much clearance as possible. There's an axle carrier on here, which has a sliding position, so you can put it exactly where you need it. And there's an electronics tray on the Tsunami chassis. So that's the spine of the build is this one. Then what will we be using axle wise? We have F9 axles. We will be using a plastic one in the rear, and we will be using a metal one in the front, an offset pumpkin axle. Nothing is done to the front axle. The rear axle is completely tuned and greased, and everything is in order. It's okay to use. Of this fake axle, Capra F9 axle, the front one, offset pumpkin one. This one will need some work to be done to it. What things do we have laying around? We have new shafts with these double shear, these isokinetic axles. They should have no problem turning on a real steep steering angle, as this one tend to have some, it's not at the real steering, strong steering angles, they tend to you know what I mean. What else do we have? We have some knuckle weights. Get some extra weight on the front axle. And then the stub axles, these are way too small and they need to be changed, so AMK has some beefier ones. The beefier ones will go on it. Last but not least, there is behind the axle servo mount, so we will have a nice and low profile servo behind the axle. We do have an OSC laying around with a really strong horn. I never seen this big of a horn for the servo. And then there's the entries. I've heard nothing but good about the entry servo, so one of these two will go in. Might end up with the entries, as I heard really good stuff about the servo. We need a power plant. We have the secure one laying around. This is a 70 amp controller. The secure motor is an 1800 kV motor, so this is one option. We also have the ReVolt RC combo laying around. This is a 50 amp controller, and the engine is a 2250 kV. So my preference goes to the secure, but if we need a higher RPM motor, we might end up with the ReVolt combo. So still a lot of choices to be made. Gearbox. Speaking of gearboxes, we have two competitors. There's this OD3, which is a nice gearbox. I have it in a build. It gives 30% underdrive to the rear. It's a nice gearbox, not too big. But there's this one, which is even smaller, which is an NOD2, fake one. In this one there is no underdrive or overdrive. So in that case we will need to change ring and pinion, probably in the front axle, because this one has a, I think, 1:9 or 1:10 ratio. And then if we combine that with ring and pinion and the portals, there will be a lot of reduction. So I will probably, if it's the NOD2, we will change the ring and pinion in the front from an 830 to an 824, which will provide about 20% overdrive, but all the reduction will give that, I will end up with a nice number. We have some shocks. We will be using the fake draft shocks, DraftX. I like these, they work really good. There's some traxxas packs which can make these also leak free, which is a nice thing to have when you run shocks, oil filled shocks. These are 95s. I expect to end up on 95s, but we have all flavors and all colors, so I like this color specifically, but we have 85s, we have 105s, so we will see where we end up. And there's a bunch of springs to make sure these ones were good. The links, I'm buying 2 packs. This one is available on AliExpress on an Injora LCG chassis set. I'm using the front ones from this set, and then there's another set widely available from different manufacturers or different shops, because I think it's all the same package. And of this package I'm using the rears. These are the uppers and these are the lowers. As you can see, we gave the lowers an extra bend for clearance. So yeah, I combined these two packages together, they are like 30 euros. So, and the other ones, I can use the other ones on other builds. I have to say, these links, when I'm using these ones, I start with this position over here, and then we go to the rear. If you want to use these big links, then you don't use the backwards position, then you start from the skid, and these ones go over here and the other ones start from down there. And actually you can get away with only this package on this build, but then you also need to give the lower one an extra bend. You can do it over here, you can do a bend over here and put them like this. So you will need to give an extra bend in this one, but the Injora LCG package, you can get away with just buying this one, and then it's 15 euros and you're all set. This is link-wise. What else do we have? Tires. There was an aluminium prototype of this one, completely made in this workshop by hand and by the tools I have. And that prototype did run the RC four-wheel drive comp bully tires. Was a really good tire on that build, so we might end up on this tire again. I like this tire, it's a pin tire. I don't do competitions, so I don't care what tire I use. I like it, it looks nice. But in the meantime, there have been some other players in the field. One of them being this chisel from Proline. I really like this tire. I like this hieroglyphic lugs, and more specific, what I do love is the foam in here. This is a memory foam, a real memory foam from back in the days, and it works. Might end up on this one. Both will work. They are the same height, so rotation wise that doesn't change anything in the gearing. These are a lot wider than the comp pins, so not sure which one. I might test them both. Yeah, we'll see. There's also Sedonas, for those who know. Sedonas are also in the running. There's also White Rovers. There's a lot of tires to choose from. And what else do we have? We use our favorite controller, the RC4GS. And what else? Oh yeah, there is one more thing. There's the body. As you can see, the body. This will be his body. It's a stage killer from jconcepts. I really love this body. It's a narrow one. It looks nice. I love this body. And this kind of body, yeah, you can use really big tires. I won't touch anything. So my son is already doing some preparing for the paint work, so he's gonna make something nice of it. I'm curious what it's gonna be, but I bet the ReVolt colors will be in there, which will be yellow and black, as you can see. So there's also sliders. 3D sliders, 3D design sliders in CAD program. My son does all these things, so they have the best shape to go over all the rocks. All these things were designed. Yeah, I say what I want, and my son designs it in CAD, and then our friend Kenneth prints it out. All these things, all these parts are in nylon printed. Nylon with the carbon fiber in it, so they are really strong, and they still slide really good over all the obstacles. Okay, yeah, I think that's all for episode 1. Episode 1, where we say what all the things are will be using. There's still some choices to be made: gearbox, motor, servos, tires. So a couple of options to be done. Yeah, I'm umming a lot, I know. This is the end of episode 1. So episode 2, I'm not sure I can take you all the way in all the fiddling and the building. I will do my best to film as much as possible, but don't be surprised when next time, yeah, I will try not to have a roller on the bench, but I can make no promises on that. So I hope you all look as much forward to episode 2 as I do. Thank you all for watching. GoPro, stop recording. Godverdomme, hè.